Hi everyone, today I'm going to talk about the film A Hand in the Wind, which is a Japanese film produced in 1948, directed by Yasuhiro Ozu. It talks about a young mother who was around 28-29 years old in the immediate post-war Japan. She had a little son called Hiroshi, who was 4 years old, and she was waiting for her husband to be repatriated after World War II. And she lived in serious poverty, and she tried to make ends meet by being a dressmaker. She didn't earn too much, but it was her occupation. Someday, she was trying to sell a kimono to a woman who suggested her that she could earn a living in a much easier way, by selling her body. And of course, she was insulted and rejected the proposal. However, a while later, her little son, Hiroshi, he got seriously sick and needed to be hospitalized. And even though her son recovered after a while, she was left with a big hospital bill to be paid. And she couldn't have that money at all. She was already living in poverty even before that. It was when she decided to accept the proposal of the woman. Then she went to an out-of-the-way brothel and she worked there for one night. And with this money, she got to pay the hospital bill. And she never returned there again. And a short time later, her husband finally returned home from the war. And then, at some point, when she was talking to her husband about the disease of the son, he asked about the hospital bill, how she could afford that, if she had borrowed money from anyone, and then she confessed what she did. Of course, he was shocked, he was extremely angry. A short time later, she had one close friend. Her friend returned there. Back to when she sold her body for a night, her friend realized that and scolded her. Then her friend returned again to visit her and to say to her that she shouldn't tell about that to her husband because it wouldn't do any good and he would only suffer. Then the young mother said it was already too late and that she had already told everything to her husband. And then her husband was in deep shock. He didn't want to talk to his wife. He couldn't concentrate in his work after some days. And then he made his wife confess where the brothel was, exactly the place, the name of the place. Then he made a secret visit to that place. And then he found a 21-year-old prostitute who was ready to service him. And after talking to her why she was there, after he asked that, the woman said that her oldest brother passed away. She had a little brother who was still a child and her father couldn't work. So she couldn't find any other job and ended up working in that house. And then the guy, he didn't want anything with her and he left. He gave her the money and left. Then after a while, the woman of the house, she met him outside too. And then he asked the girl why she was working in that place, why she couldn't find another job. She said that she wouldn't, that nobody would hire her. And then he said that he would find a job for her in his workplace. And then he asked his colleague to find a job for this woman and told the entire story to his colleague. Then his colleague wondered that he could forgive a woman who was selling herself and he had never seen her in his life, but he couldn't forgive his own wife. Then his colleague said that he understood how he felt, that he was shocked, okay, but for his own sake, for the sake of his wife, he should forget that and try to be happy with his family and leave everything in the past. And then he said it was difficult to him. His colleagues said he was supposed to try. And then the husband returned home. And then the wife, when she saw him, she tried desperately to connect with him. She apologized heavily for everything she did. And she was very submissive. She tried all she could for her husband to talk to her again. And then he was very stressed, fed up. He was violent with her and accidentally threw her downstairs. So she fell over the stairs and she fell very badly. At first it seemed that she fainted, but then she stood up. But she was limping. She hurt her feet, it seems. No, the foot. She hurt one foot, it seems. And then when the husband realized that he hurt his wife, he felt very guilty. The woman went upstairs with lots of physical difficulty, and she told her husband that she would accept whatever punishment he wanted to give to her. If he wanted to hate her, to leave her, to beat her, to scold her, everything and anything she would accept. Then her husband told her that he acknowledged that he was wrong too, and that they both should forget about everything that happened and try to be happy together, because their son would soon grow up, and that the wisest thing to do is that they both remain together. That he now understands that she didn't have another choice back then. And then they promised each other that they wouldn't remember the past anymore. They would live in the present, and whatever difficulty that happened, they would handle that in a calm and relaxed way. The husband probably said that because he was nervous and ended up hurting his wife, that they should be together, hold hands, and help each other in life, like true married couples must do. And then it was a very touching moment. And after this difficult period, it seems that the family would finally be happily reunited. Guys, this is a film by Yasuhiro Ozu, so even though the plot seems very sad, it's also beautiful at the same time. It ends in an optimistic way, that even though they struggled with war, poverty, and all the things, that they could be together if they forgot the past and looked back and looked to the future, if they didn't look back. And that this is what they should do, to try to do everything they can to live happily. If you like Yasuhiro Ozu, this film observes his usual delicate, optimistic style. That's all for now, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you!